Okay, everybody, we are studying Cubism, and our learning target is, I can define Cubism and analyze the work of Picasso. I can use geometric and organic shapes to create abstract art. The theme of our art is music, and we are going to make a mixed media piece of art, meaning that we're going to use many art materials. We are going to use pencil, we're going to use marker, we're tracing, we're going to collage. It's going to be great. We are using a limited palette, so it's going to be mostly black and white, but we might sprinkle in some colors. Okay, so the first thing I would like to do is to create my composition, which will 100% fill this picture plane. I have a variety of things I can use to trace. You will most likely be using stations when we do this. Oops. And I'm putting these on the paper so you can see, how I'm going to lay them out. I can see now that I need to raise up my camera, so I'm going to do that. Hang on. Okay, I get a little better vantage point. Okay, we still can't see everything, but you're going to see enough. So we are going to overlap, and these images will become obscured because we're going to do a lot of stuff to this piece of paper. Picasso is from Spain, and we are studying Spain. He spent time in Barcelona, although he's not specific to that region. We are thinking about Cubism, though, because we learned about Antoni Gaudi, who did the Sagrada Familia church, and his statues had that Cubism look. Angular, abstract. So a thing can be abstract, but you can still recognize it. Or a thing can be abstract and you can't recognize it. Here we go. So I'm making this tambourine here. So I have 3 instruments on my piece of paper. Now, if you started at a station that was gears, for example, you would just want to spread them around. What do gears have to do with music? I don't know. I was thinking of kind of like a player piano, or just kind of this like industrial feel. Sorry. There we go. The gears take a little while. So you can see I'm going off the edge of the page, and I want you to be mindful of those edges, because we want things to go off the side of the page, where like this piece of art would make sense any way that you hold it, whether it be horizontal or vertical. Because these gears are so labor intensive, I'm not going to do a lot of them for the sake of time for this video. We always use pencil in art. I don't know if I like that square gear. I do like for a thing to appear more than once, and I've talked about this a lot in our art making. The eye seeks out repetition. So in one of my paintings, if I'm using or if I'm using value, which you should always use value, which is darkness and lightness, then my eye is going to look for those areas. Okay, gear, 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 instrument, instrument, instrument. Okay, cool. Now, I also have these kind of fun stencils. People, just because it's a square and it lines up to the edge, that does not mean that's how you have to do it. You can do it like that, but I'm gonna make mine kind of jaunty. And I'm not gonna do all the squares, I'm gonna do some of the squares. Or maybe I'll do all the squares, I don't know. And that looks cool. I could do just a couple someplace else too. There's a few more. Cool. And then I'm gonna do some of these kind of this kind of like burst situation. See how that looks. Looks pretty cool. I have to do a couple more over here. Okay. Great. You know what I like about this? It gives me the impression of like sound coming out. Okay. I have some of these big circles. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for places where it's like there's less going on, because I want it equally crowded, but not too crowded. Okay? Sorry, some of these are not fitting in the camera view. I'm gonna do it 3 times. Okay, now, this is where people get a little crazy, is with the ruler. I mean, Cubism spaces are kind of divided by a straight line, but we've already got a lot going on, so don't go crazy. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Now maybe over here, maybe I need to kind of do something to split that. Okay, great. Okay, so then you would have to start deciding, like, how am I making this even more interesting? Now, I want you to choose a couple of areas to outline with Sharpie. Not them all, but just some. So let's say if I really wanted to focus on this horn, maybe I would outline the horn. Or maybe I would see how I just decided to not outline part of that. So that's part of it. And this is where I think some of you might struggle a little bit, is at, having some editing in your mind. So this one I'm just gonna like fully outline, because why not? Okay. And maybe I do like this gear. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this gear here. Or should I just keep going? I don't know. I might have to make that decision later. Okay, now, what I'm going to do next is start shading some of my areas. So if we're looking at this, you can see there's dark to light in some of these triangles, or some of these shapes are kind of like different values. So I want you to only use your pencil on these smaller areas, because we're gonna paint on these also, and it'll be easier and more fun to paint those areas. So these teardrops, I'm gonna make them dark to light. Now, when I teach this to you, we may go out of order. So you'll continue this on some of your small shapes. Okay, so that looks cool. And then maybe I would do it over here. And so on. Oh, geez, sorry. I didn't realize I couldn't be seen. Okay. I mean, a lot is going to happen to these. It's already looking cool, though. Okay, keep going.